Title 42 has come to an end, and the result is, well, you could say as predicted. Now, Title 42 was nothing more than the COVID Band-Aid on the porous border. So Title 42 basically said that in order to protect U.S. citizens at the time of a global pandemic, we have to have some restrictions on who gets to come into this country, and people who are bringing disease and posing a danger, a health danger to the American people, can be kept out. But Title 42, the Biden administration pushed for ending Title 42. And of course, they've also announced that the pandemic is no longer a pandemic. And so why have Title 42? And so now you truly have the border being opened up. Of course, the word has gotten out to Mexico and lots of other places. And the Biden administration is like, we're on it, but they are most definitely not on it.
They're off of it.
They are off of it.
So it's a good thing I speak Spanish, because it just may become the official language in the United States of America. Sí, señor.
Yeah, when you look at these numbers, they are
staggering.
Huge,
staggering. Well, there was an article about 80,000 being in Guatemala, and they were just kind of holding there, but they're all coming. This is very dangerous. This is extremely dangerous. I don't know if people realize that this is an invasion. This is an actual, I don't know about Ukraine and Russia,
well, I mean,
whatever.
do we know any other country that allows this in this way? Where you essentially, it's kind of like you're taking down the fence of your house and basically saying, anyone here is welcome, and then you pretend like you're not doing it. So you're destroying the integrity of your own country. You're doing it for crass political reasons, and you're sacrificing the health and the safety and the welfare of your own citizens.
If you think that the homeless problem is bad right now, just wait. Just wait. We're going to have encampments everywhere.
Well, you can get a preview of it just by looking at the encampments that already exist on the border towns. I mean, I've been watching videos of El Paso. You don't even think you're in the United States.
And Brownsville.
I mean,
where I grew up.
But I mean, you've got, it's essentially the whole town is a homeless encampment.
Yeah, and it's going to be worse. It's going to become absolutely worse. And not to mention, as I've told you before, my cousin kind of alluded to this a while ago, and he's trying to come legally, thankfully. But he said, word in Venezuela, word on the street, is you come to the border because you will be let in, because Biden will let you in. That is the word on the street in Venezuela.
I got to say, to some degree, we always think of these, we tend to put the focus on the illegals, and they are breaking the law, but they're not breaking the law if the law is being ignored by the very people who are supposed to administer the law. So this is the problem here, and that is that the government, the U.S. government under Biden, has decided to create this crisis. It's a completely manufactured crisis. There's no reason to have it. We could have a secure border. If they wanted to, they could secure it. They don't want to. That's why it's the way it is.
They don't want to secure it. And again, I'm not really sure how it can benefit America, really. And it can't benefit these illegals either, because in many cases, they're going from bad to worse, really. They think that they're coming to the land of opportunity, the land of the free. And in many cases, it is that. But it may not be that for them. And, how much of a living really can you do by mowing someone's yard or cleaning someone's house?
Well, I mean, and do parents whose kids are being sent in this way know that they're going to be sex trafficked, and they're going to create rape trees, and they're going to be in the hands of basically gangsters and mobsters who can have their will with them? Is this an improvement over the way things are? Not necessarily.
I don't think so. In my opinion, and I've always said this, is these countries that are so close to us, I don't know how much money they receive from the U.S. government. I know how much the Middle East gets, and they get a lot. And I know how much the Ukraine gets. It gets a lot. But how much does Mexico, Guatemala, and of course, I don't want to say Venezuela, because Venezuela is a cesspool of corruption. And if any money goes to Venezuela, it's going to go in the pocket of Maduro for sure. That is like no doubt. And a lot of these people are Venezuelans coming over, but that's another story because they were promised some goods that they weren't given. Okay, that's why they're coming.
I mean, that's the irony. You've pointed out to me something I didn't know, which is that a lot of the people now are Chavistas.
They were Chavistas.
Who were part of the revolution, thinking it would benefit them, and now they're on the run.
And now they're on the run because guess what? That whole thing of like hope and change, it didn't happen. And so now they're starving and they think, oh, well, let's go to America. But no, so I think that we should have given the countries that have all of these people fleeing. Number one, they're fleeing not just because of economic opportunity. They're fleeing because of the cartels. And I've said this over and over again. If you have a family member whose head is chopped off by a cartel, I don't think you're going to want to stick around, So let's fix those problems. And then maybe we wouldn't have it bleeding over into our country.
I mean, when you think about this sordid situation, really, there are only two beneficiaries, the cartels and the Biden regime, which is itself a cartel.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the cartels on this side of the border, except they're running the U.S. government. And then you've got the cartels on that side of the border. And those are the people who are sitting around and laughing because it is to their financial, in the one case, and political, in the other case, benefit.